since the beginning of the 2020s, there were 14 days that when it would be the Hello, how are you doing? It is 8:55 a.m. on what is a wonderful morning out. It is full sunshine, so that's great. And also, we're beginning to warm up and no push-ups today. It's my day off. Oh goodness, the spiker is making it a little bit too hard for me to decide what to do. Dude, just make a move. Oh, thank God. Right, anyway, so today is February 21st, which means no push-ups today. It's my day off. Yesterday, you see me do 3 rounds of push-ups. You won't see me do push-ups again until March 2nd. And yeah, at some point I was talking about the group of white SUVs. So Allison drives a Volvo XC60, and in the other neighbor's house, 2 of them are white Mazda SUVs, with the other one being a Chevrolet Tahoe. Also, the other day I learned that beside the over-ear headphones, which you can find on the Aeroband store, the red Beats headphones that I have can also connect them with Aeroband. It works well with these Solo Beats headphones, even though I haven't used them for very long. Now, at the end of yesterday's video, I was talking about something that feels like a curse. It was an absolutely crazy start to the day. It was so insane. It was so intense. It was kind of dramatic as well at first. And I just didn't know how it was gonna go from that point. But yesterday morning, when I was heading out of the neighborhood, just at the intersection that get out, a pedestrian just out of nowhere came up, and by accident I ran her over. She fell down, and I didn't understand what she was saying. I mean, she speaks Spanish, and my Spanish is not fluent. I've been studying Spanish for 10 years, but I'm still not fluent at it. I'm still not at my best. There's still plenty that I know, but I'm just not a fluent Spanish speaker. So like, I pulled over and thought what was going on, but yeah, an accident, obviously. The pedestrian, well, she didn't get injured too badly. She was not in so much pain, so this only turned out to be a settlement. But thinking about that, I still feel like I barely avoided getting arrested. Like, by mistake, I went over the ped and she fell to the ground. Like, didn't see what was coming. And on the other side, I thought to myself that these pedestrians, like, as much responsibility drivers show while driving in the road, pedestrians should show the same level of responsibility. Because on Tuesday, when I was driving to my rock school before my drum lesson, there was another female pedestrian who was running on the road where she didn't pay attention. It was the wrong time, and I was close. She was running from one sidewalk to the other. She was running on the road while I was approaching, so I had to slow down, give her way, but it was close. Yesterday, it happened. Like, I hit the ped, and it's gone to a settlement. And one thing that's in my head, it's not just about the incident, but I strongly believe now that it may very well be a superstition. You know, I have previously talked about when it would be the 22nd day of the month that would be a curse, which used to be the case. That started to fade away around the end of 2024, like the only thing that went tense about it being the 22nd of the month was on November 22nd, when that guy almost hit me when he was supposed to stop at a stop sign. Well, now it's come to a point that I'm believing much more in the curse of the 20th. When it's the 20th day of the month, something insane, like intense or dramatic, or something happens that represents bad luck, superstition, and it's just so hard to explain it. Like the day that when I was in my university, I got out of that parking spot and I hit the rear of that burgundy red car. I talked about it once. That was on October 20th, 2025. And yesterday, February 20th, 2026, while getting out of the neighborhood, I hit a pedestrian. Like this day, well, now it's the 21st, but it seems like this date is just bad luck. I really am starting to feel like this may be a curse. Like, it's only been 6 months since I have started driving, well, legally. And on 2 out of 3 occasions that I have drove my car on a day that would be the 20th day of the month, I got into an accident. And it's not just about incidents where I've been in traffic accidents. Like, since I was a child, I've been seeing the 20th day of the month as a curse. A lot of instances, like that one day that I went on my bike around the neighborhood, I fell and ripped some part of my top. That was on January 20th, 2023. And a couple of months after, on March 20th, I was on vacation and there was a family, including one baby, began to cry too hard. And I was saying, like, is there any way that we can make him quiet? But then they started a heck of a fight and they got me in, they tried to get me in trouble for that. Honestly, now I'm believing so much in the curse of the 20th day of the month, way more than what I used to think about the 22nd day of the month, because from the beginning of the 2020s decade, I recall 14 instances that the 20th day of the month has brought bad luck. And I know because I have advanced memory, I have such expert memory that I can remember things very well, even if it wasn't for the vlogs. I'm still good at remembering things. Well, yeah, at least 14 instances. Like, even the second worst day in terms of bad luck, well, on the day that would be from 1 to 31 of the month, even had like 9 or 10 instances. But on the 20th, 14 times. Since the beginning of the 2020s, there were 14 days that when it would be the 20th day of the month, it would bring bad luck. And like, that's not to say that I have a problem with the number 20. I mean, there is a number that I don't like, a number which I find absolutely nothing special about. I kind of see it as lame. I mean, I talked about it at the start of the month and I said that that's number 2. It's 10th multiple. I just see it as the cursed number in some ways. And having thinking about that, like, man, I'm so glad now that on the day that I had turned 20 years old, I played to be a different age, even more than I was at the time. In my life, it being the 20th day of the month creates a negative superstition. Like, I don't have a problem with the number 20. It's a decent number. For me, it has been kind of a superstition. 2020 was a bad year. Obviously, we know what happened. COVID hit. Well, I recall plenty of times, even when I was a child and into my adolescence, that the 20th day of the month would just bring bad luck. I mean, I know that people commonly find numbers 9 and 13 unlucky for various reasons. And when I talk about 2020, outside of it being the year, the number 2020, or if I use the 24-hour time, the military time, when it would be 8:20 p.m. In other words, 2020, that's the minute that I would see come up the most frequently of the day. And also the number 2020, that's one of the numbers that I see everywhere. I have no problem with it, but it's just that I see it a lot. Same with the numbers 22 and 67. It was very much like that with the number 25 as well, though not for a long-term period, only for about 6 to 12 months. I still see 22, 67, and 2020 everywhere. So, about 4 or 5 minutes after I got off my car to begin today's walk, I had a brief talk with a guy who's an Army veteran, and I heard a lot of sad things that happened to him. Talked to him for about 10 to 15 minutes. At first, he talked to me about my shirt, and yeah, I can see what's on my shirt. It's a skull, a polo skull. I designed this t-shirt on the Polo Ralph Lauren store in the past. There were some terrible stories of some incidents that got beat up by one or group of white people, but I don't want to talk too much about it. But this talk was mainly about how civilization is just not the way that it should be, really. Like, even these days, a lot of times it just shows like we're all human beings, no matter what race we are, no matter what ethnicity we are, I shall say, because we are a part of the human race regardless of our ethnicity. One thing I can say, even I would be embarrassed myself to talk about this, but we were looking through some pictures where he was wearing an eye patch, and that's because the eye that he covered isn't functioning properly enough anymore, because on one of the days, one white guy called him some racist words and then beat him up, gave him a concussion, a black eye, and since then that eye has not been working anymore. This is still an ongoing issue in our planet, and this should pretty much teach us that we are all humans, regardless of our ethnicity, regardless of our stereotype. Like, we may be different. Like, I even call myself Mr. Different, but at the end of the day, we are still humans. Like, it's just that there's a certain number of people that need to go back to college and take history classes. Well, that's all from me for today. I'm gonna end it for today's video, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.